Kazakh singer, huge fan base, not just at home, but right across the world. Dimash rose to fame in China 8 years ago due to his unique style, astonishing vocal range, spanning 6 octaves, would you believe?
The human voice, at its absolute deepest, can descend to a G0. It becomes a subterranean rumble, a vibration that doesn't just enter your ears, but resonates deep within your chest cavity, shaking you to your core. At the opposite extreme, around a D8, the sound transcends normal vocalization entirely. It crystallizes into a piercing whistle, an almost impossible frequency, mimicking the highest violin notes, or a falcon's cry catching an updraft. Most singers spend their entire lives mastering just a fraction of that impossible distance, but navigating from that tectonic G0 all the way up to that stratospheric D8 encompasses over 6 octaves. It is an anatomical anomaly, a physiological rarity that defies every established rule of vocal pedagogy. This is the biological reality of Dimash Qudaibergen, known to the world simply as Dimash Qudaibergen. His voice represents nothing less than a fundamental paradigm shift in the contemporary landscape of global music. This isn't just about an impressive range, it's about a career that completely dismantles conventional genre categorization, moving effortlessly from neoclassical crossover and operatic pop to traditional Kazakh folk, jazz, rock, and mainstream pop. The story of Dimash Qudaibergen is not merely about a biological vocal anomaly. It's a profound case study in the globalization of non-Western artists, an exploration of how a young man from the vast, ancient steppes of Kazakhstan leveraged strategic victories in Eastern European and East Asian television competitions to cultivate an intensely dedicated, borderless fan base. He bypassed the traditional Anglo-American music industry apparatus entirely, crafting his own unique path to global recognition. By the first quarter of 2026, Dimash had evolved from a vocal prodigy, navigating the intense pressures of reality television, into an executive producer of transnational media, a United Nations global humanitarian figure, and an elite collaborator sharing stages with the absolute titans of the classical world. To truly understand this extraordinary trajectory, we have to look beyond the spectacle of his 6-octave range and examine the intricate scaffolding beneath it. We have to delve into the meticulous academic rigor that shaped him, the profound cultural diplomacy he champions, and the deep, abiding connection to his familial roots in Kazakhstan. His very name, Din Muhammad, carries immense cultural and spiritual weight. Conceptually, it translates to, "The religion of Muhammad is given by God," reflecting a deep spiritual grounding that is inextricably woven into his identity. This is not an artist manufactured in a corporate boardroom or meticulously assembled by a team of hit-making producers in Los Angeles or London. This is an artist whose foundation was forged in a specific cultural ecosystem, shaped by generations of musical pedagogy and refined through a grueling, relentless commitment to the craft of singing. The architectural foundation of his musicality is inextricably linked to the city of Aktobe, Kazakhstan, where he was born on May 24, 1994. Aktobe is situated in the western part of the country, a place where the vast, sweeping expanses of the Eurasian steppe dictate a certain rhythm of life, a sense of boundless space and ancient traditions. To truly understand Dimash, you must first understand the household he was born into. It was an environment deeply saturated with musical pedagogy, where artistic expression wasn't just encouraged, it was the very air they breathed. His father, Canto Aitimov, was a prominent singer, a respected poet, and a dedicated educator. Canto taught at the Aktobe Pedagogical Institute and served as the director of the House of Friendship at the Aktobe Philharmonic, a central figure in the local cultural scene. His mother, Svetlana Aitimova, was equally successful as a regional vocalist, known for her powerful and emotive performances. In their home, musical expression was not merely a hobby or an extracurricular activity to be pursued after other responsibilities. It was the primary mode of communication, the language spoken at the dinner table, the atmosphere that permeated every single room. Music was the conduit for emotion, for storytelling, for connecting generations. Following traditional Kazakh familial customs, the young Dimash's upbringing was heavily influenced by his grandparents. In Kazakh culture, it is common for the eldest child to be raised primarily by the grandparents, a practice that ensures the profound transmission of generational wisdom, deeply ingrained cultural values, and ancestral history. His grandmother, Miwa Nizamuddinova, a biology and geography teacher with a deep love for tradition, alongside his grandfather, took primary responsibility for his early upbringing. They provided the essential cultural and emotional scaffolding that kept the young prodigy grounded amidst his burgeoning talents. They instilled in him traditional values, an immense, unwavering respect for elders, and a deep sense of humility that remains remarkably evident in his public persona today, even amidst the blinding glare of global superstardom and relentless media attention. Because he was surrounded by working musicians and educators, his initiation into the performing arts occurred with an unusual precocity. His first stage appearance took place when he was just 2 years old, cast in a minor theatrical role in a local production. This wasn't merely a cute family anecdote, it was the very beginning of his comfort on stage. By the tender age of 5, he had commenced formal instruction in both piano and vocals at the children's studio of the Aktobe Music College. This early start is absolutely critical to understanding his development. Many individuals possess raw biological vocal talent, a natural gift, but without early, systematic, and rigorous training, that talent often remains unstructured, unrefined, and ultimately unfulfilled. Dimash was learning the intricate geometry of music, the precise mathematics of the piano keyboard, and the fundamental, often counterintuitive, mechanics of breath control long before he was even old enough to fully articulate these complex concepts. He was absorbing the rich traditions of Kazakh folk music, mastering the complex rhythms of the dumbra, a traditional two-stringed instrument central to Kazakh musical identity, and internalizing the emotive storytelling inherent in the haunting songs of the steppe. This familial dynamic, this intensely musical ecosystem, did not simply launch his career and then fade into the background. It continues to inform and structure his professional life today, creating a self-sustaining creative engine that constantly evolves. His younger sister Roshan, and particularly his younger brother Mansour Qudaibergen, have been increasingly integrated into his musical infrastructure. Mansour, born in 2007, has evolved into a formidable musician in his own right. He does not simply ride on the coattails of his older brother's fame. He is a vital, indispensable component of the touring apparatus. During the massive, physically grueling global Stranger World tour, Mansour served as a solo guitarist, embedding his own distinct musical signature, his own intricate improvisations, into the live shows. His versatility is striking and a testament to the family's shared musical prowess. During the tour's grand finale in Riga, Latvia in December 2025, Mansour seamlessly filled in as the primary keyboardist, demonstrating an impressive command of yet another instrument. This generational continuity extends deep into the very composition process. Mansour composed the track Together, which Dimash released in 2023, highlighting a deeply collaborative, familial approach to music production. The brothers also collaborated on a highly personal and exquisitely poignant composition for their sister Roshan's wedding, a track titled When My Swallow Built Her Nest. This illustrates how deeply interwoven their personal and professional musical lives remain. The music is not separate from the family. The music is the family. But raw talent and unwavering family support alone did not forge a global icon capable of safely executing whistle tones without shredding their vocal cords. The biological gift required meticulous refinement through rigorous institutional training. Following his secondary education, Dimash enrolled at the Zubanov Music College in Aktobe. It was here that he encountered a truly transformative figure in his early development, the esteemed Kazakh vocal coach Marat. Aikin is widely recognized as the architect of Dimash's foundational vocal control. He systematically expanded the young singer's already impressive biological range and, perhaps even more importantly, instilled a lifelong discipline of daily vocal exercises. This is a critical point of differentiation for any aspiring vocalist. Dimash frequently acknowledges Icon's profound impact, noting that even at the height of his global fame, with millions of fans and sold-out stadiums, he continues to practice these daily vocal drills. He cites the continuous learning ethos of legends like Luciano Pavarotti, understanding that the human voice is a living, changing instrument that requires relentless maintenance, constant conditioning, and meticulous care to retain its agility, power, and expressive capabilities. His academic progression did not stop there. He continued his studies at the Music Institute of K. Zubinov University, majoring in vocal performance with a specific specialization in bel canto. Bel canto, literally meaning beautiful singing in Italian, is a highly demanding classical vocal technique that emphasizes an evenness of tone across the entire vocal range, agile phrasing, and impeccable breath control. It's the foundation of classical operatic singing, requiring immense discipline. Recognizing the critical need for an even more comprehensive understanding of musical structure and theory, Dimash relocated to the capital city, Astana. In a powerful testament to the family's absolute dedication to his development, his grandparents moved with him, continuing their foundational support in this new, bustling environment. At the prestigious Kazakh National University of Arts, he pursued a major in vocal performance, this time focusing on contemporary music, followed by an intensive master's degree in composition, and eventually engaging in doctoral studies, pursuing a PhD in musicology. This intense dual proficiency in both rigorous classical operatic technique and contemporary composition created the most critical inflection point in his early career. Based purely on his exceptional bel canto capabilities, Dimash was formally offered a permanent position at the Astana Opera. This is a highly coveted and traditionally orthodox path for any classically trained vocalist, a career many would dedicate their lives to achieving. A permanent opera position guarantees immense prestige, financial stability, and a respected place within the high art establishment. Declining such an offer is not merely a risk, it's a massive, almost unthinkable gamble for a young artist. Yet, demonstrating remarkable early artistic autonomy and a prescient understanding of shifting global music consumption paradigms, he turned it down. He chose instead to pioneer a dangerous, uncharted neoclassical crossover space. He wanted to fuse traditional Kazakh instrumentation, the classical vocal technique he had meticulously cultivated, and modern pop aesthetics, creating something entirely new and uniquely his own. To truly grasp why this gamble paid off so spectacularly, we have to look closely at the anatomical vocal architecture and the precise technical mechanics that make his live performances possible. The scientific, pedagogical, and critical consensus surrounding his voice points to a rarity that constantly challenges standard categorization. While primarily classified by vocal pedagogues as a light lyric tenor or a tenor baritone, largely due to the timbre and weight of his natural speaking and mid-range singing voice, his ability to access physiological extremities is utterly unparalleled in mainstream commercial music. Let us break down the biomechanics of this astonishing 6-octave range, moving from the deepest rumbles to the highest crystalline whistles. The lower register, venturing deep into vocal fry, reaches down to a G0 or F1. He exhibits a consistent, well-developed quality down to an A2. He utilizes this register not just for shock value or momentary theatrics, but strategically, to establish dramatic tension, to ground a composition with a profound sense of weight, and to demonstrate foundational breath support before embarking on his ascensions. Then comes the mid-range and belting register, extending robustly up to a G-sharp 4 or G5. Here, he demonstrates incredibly high subglottic pressure and absolute vocal fold adduction. Subglottic pressure is the air pressure built up directly below the vocal folds. It is the fundamental fuel that powers the voice. Adduction refers to the vocal folds coming together tightly, completely sealing off the airflow. He is capable of carrying full chest resonance, that powerful resonant sound typically associated with lower voices, up to these incredibly high notes without any audible strain. This creates a powerful operatic or rock-oriented timbre that anchors his most dramatic anthems. giving them immense emotional gravity and impact. Moving higher, we reach the head voice and falsetto, stretching seamlessly from an A4 to a D6. This is arguably his most commercially recognized and widely celebrated asset. He navigates this register with the agility and pure, crystalline tone of a colorata soprano, allowing him to effortlessly access and sustain pitches typically exclusive to female vocalists. This creates an ethereal, almost otherworldly quality that captivates audiences. Finally, we reach the whistle register, spanning from a D6 to an astonishing D8. This is an extreme physiological mechanism that few vocalists in history have been able to consistently produce. In the whistle register, the vocal folds do not fully vibrate along their entire length. Instead, they zip up tightly, leaving only a highly constricted glottal opening at the interior portion. Air whistles through this tiny gap, creating the characteristic piercing sound. Dimash employs this register for highly climactic ornamental flourishes, often at the very peak of a song, leaving audiences in stunned silence. Expert analyses of his live performances consistently reveal a profound mastery of biomechanical alignment. Prominent vocal specialists note that his entire foundation relies on optimal upper body posture, ensuring the precise alignment of the neck, spine, and head. This meticulous alignment is crucial because it opens the internal resonators, expands the pharyngeal space in the back of the throat, and critically prevents laryngeal constriction, which can impede vocal production and cause damage. It is this exact physical alignment that allows him to sing at such extreme volumes and pitches without incurring the dreaded vocal node damage that has tragically ruined the careers of so many otherwise talented singers. Furthermore, his use of the vibrato is highly calculated and never accidental. It is not a default physiological tremor. He employs it dynamically, meticulously manipulating its speed and width depending on the genre and the emotional context to add depth, richness, and emotional gravity to sustained notes. He executes rapid pitch runs and melismas with surgical precision, each note distinct and perfectly articulated, a testament to countless hours of practice. Critics occasionally argue that his extreme multi-octave leaps cater more to talent show theatrics than to traditional, restrained artistic sensibilities. However, comprehensive pedagogical counter-analyses stress a vastly different reality. Singing at such physical extremes requires supreme, unwavering technique and absolute muscular control. A vocalist utilizing poor technique at those extremities would suffer immediate and severe vocal trauma, making a sustained career impossible. His live delivery also involves an advanced, almost intuitive understanding of microphone dynamics. This enables him to manually balance the immense acoustic pressure of his chest-dominant belting with the delicate, high-frequency phonation of his whistle tones, by constantly adjusting the physical distance of the microphone from his mouth. It's a dance between human physiology and audio engineering, performed live without a safety net. The genesis of his global prominence was certainly not accidental. It was not reliant on a random viral TikTok moment or a lucky break. It was the direct result of a calculated, methodical progression through highly competitive international festival circuits, allowing him to prove his mettle across diverse cultural landscapes. Between 2010 and 2013, he systematically dominated the regional competitive landscape across Central Asia and Eastern Europe. He secured first place at the international festival Sonorous Voices of Baikonur, triumphed at the Jazz Kanat Republican Contest, won the Oriental Bazaar in Ukraine, and claimed the Grand Prix at the Mon Asia Festival in Kyrgyzstan. These victories built a formidable reputation and honed his stage presence. But the critical geographical and cultural breakthrough occurred in the summer of 2015. Dimash traveled to Vitebsk, Belarus, to compete in the Slavianski Bazaar, a deeply respected and highly prestigious international festival of arts. This competition is renowned for its rigorous standards, heavily featuring participants from Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, and other post-Soviet states, making it a true proving ground. The rules require participants to sing Slavic songs on the first day and world hits on the second. Dimash stepped onto that stage as a clear favorite from day one. He performed Blizzard Again, a popular Russian song by Valery Mladze, alongside an original rendition of the traditional Kazakh folk song Daidao. On the second day, he delivered a performance that would irrevocably alter the trajectory of his life. He sang SOS Dontarian in Distress, a phenomenally difficult French song composed by Michel Berger with lyrics by Luc Plamondon. Originally written for the rock opera Starmania, the song is notorious for its brutal vocal demands, requiring sudden, massive leaps between chest voice and a soaring, desperate falsetto. Dimash executed it flawlessly, with breathtaking precision and emotional depth. He won the Grand Prix with a near-perfect score of 175 out of 180 points. This prestigious victory formally validated his hybrid classical pop methodology and introduced his astonishing vocal anomalies to a massive post-Soviet audience. It firmly established his reputation across Eastern Europe, elevating his profile and setting the stage for his eventual introduction to the massive, highly lucrative East Asian market. The most consequential inflection point of Qudaibergen's entire career arrived in early 2017. He was selected to participate as a wildcard competitor in the 5th season of Hunan Television's Singer 2017 in China. This was no standard reality talent show designed to discover amateur singers. This was a high-stakes competition featuring established professional music industry veterans battling week after week, broadcasting to a potential audience of over 1 billion viewers across China, Southeast Asia, and international satellite feeds. The program offered exposure on a scale that is genuinely difficult to fully comprehend. Dimash's repertoire on the show was meticulously curated to showcase his linguistic versatility, his cultural adaptability, and his sheer vocal maximalism. He was a complete unknown to the Chinese audience when he first walked onto the stage in episode 1, again performing SOS Dontarian in Distress. The reaction from the live audience, the celebrity judges, and the vocal coaches watching the broadcast was visceral, an immediate and profound shock. Viewers were stunned by the alien quality of his head voice, soaring effortlessly over the orchestral arrangement, defying every expectation. Throughout the competition, he performed a staggering array of complex pieces. The melancholic Chinese ballad Autumn Strong, Laura Fabian's notoriously difficult Adagio, and Eric Carmen's iconic power ballad All by Myself. The pressure was immense, both physically and psychologically. During the crucial 9th round of the competition, he battled a severe sore throat, a vocal emergency for any singer. The physical toll of constant international travel, the intense rehearsal schedules, and the sheer vocal taxation of the arrangements had caught up with him. It was a situation that would force most vocalists to withdraw entirely to protect their instrument and their long-term careers. Yet he pushed through, adapting his technique to protect his damaged vocal cords while still delivering a performance that dominated the 500-member jury voting. He ultimately finished as the runner-up to the legendary Hong Kong industry veteran, Sandy Lam. This placement was strategically perfect. It solidified his superstar status across Asia, earning him the devotion of a massive, highly organized global fan base known as the Deers, without locking him into the restrictive, multi-year winner's contract that often stifles artistic autonomy and future career choices. He swept regional awards, winning as Best Asian Singer at China's Top Music Awards and capturing the 24th ERC Chinese Top 10 Music Awards. The Asian market had been thoroughly conquered, and his global ascent was now unstoppable. Following his triumph in Asia, Dimash systematically targeted Western and global markets. He understood the danger of regional pigeonholing, the risk of being perceived solely as an Asian phenomenon. In 2019, he appeared on the United States reality competition, The World's Best. Although he strategically withdrew in the semifinals to allow younger competitors a chance at victory, the appearance secured vital North American exposure, introducing his talent to a vast new audience. The evolution of his live performances during this period reflects his rapid transition from a television contestant into a stadium-level global draw. His touring era began with the Bastow Tour in 2017, transitioning into the Arnau Tour across 2019 and 2020, which expanded his footprint massively across Eastern Europe and Russia, winning Pop Concert of the Year at the Tickton Awards. When the global pandemic brought live music to an abrupt halt, he executed a strategic pivot with the Dimash Digital Show in 2021, an innovative online concert that partnered with Project Cure to donate proceeds to international medical charity efforts. But it was the Stranger World Tour, spanning from 2022 to 2025, that represented the absolute zenith of his live capabilities, pushing the boundaries of what a single vocalist could achieve. This tour moved far beyond his traditional strongholds, conquering major global arenas in Yerevan, Antalya, Kuala Lumpur, Hong Kong, Prague, and Dusseldorf, demonstrating his universal appeal. It culminated in massive 2025 fixtures in vital Western markets. On October 5, 2025, he executed a historic, physically punishing 3-hour performance at Madison Square Garden in New York City, a venue that demands legendary status. He followed this with equally demanding shows at the Auditorio Nacional in Mexico City, the OVO Arena Wembley in London, and the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Berlin, concluding with a grand finale in Riga, Latvia. Reviews from the Madison Square Garden show highlighted a staggering display of stamina. He seamlessly transitioned between opera, rock, world music, pop, folk, and R&B over 3 continuous hours, completely overpowering acoustic limitations through sheer, raw vocal force and unparalleled stage presence. Parallel to his relentless touring, his discographic evolution revealed a growing compositional autonomy, a natural progression for an artist with a master's degree in composition. A defining phase was his extensive collaboration with the eminent Russian composer Igor Krutoy. This partnership yielded a definitive neoclassical pop sound, culminating in the 2021 joint album Dimash Qudaibergen and Igor Krutoy. Krutoy provided the massive orchestral grandeur, the sweeping arrangements required to match Dimash's immense vocal intensity, generating dramatic anthems like Love of Tired Swans, the operatic Olympico, and the haunting Mademoiselle Hyde. But Dimash increasingly asserted his own compository control, drawing directly on his academic background. He composed deeply personal and thematically complex tracks like War and Peace, addressing global conflict with powerful musical statements, and The Story of One Sky, a sweeping 12-minute conceptual epic addressing themes of global unity and interconnectedness. By 2024, tracks like Smoke and When I've Got You showed a sharp, deliberate pivot toward modern global R&B and pop fusion, demonstrating his versatility and commercial instincts. The track Fire even featured a rap verse executed by Dimash himself in multiple languages, further shattering genre expectations. The year 2026 marked another definitive transition. Dimash expanded his operational scope, moving from a front-and-center vocalist to an industry architect, a reality television producer, and a global cultural diplomat, actively shaping the landscape around him. In February 2026, he unveiled Voice Beyond Horizon, an ambitious international music reality and travelogue project broadcast globally via China's Hunan TV and the Mango TV digital platform. He did not simply attach his name to this project as a celebrity endorsement. He served as the initiator, a mentor to the contestants, a judge, and, crucially, the executive producer. He conceptualized the program not as a standard cutthroat talent competition focused on elimination, but as a vast collaborative cultural expedition designed to foster understanding through music. The production was monumental in scale. It involved 22 days of rigorous location filming across thousands of kilometers, traversing the sweeping natural landscapes and deep cultural heritage of Kazakhstan. The production crew traveled through the Turkestan, Mangistau, Akmola, and Almaty regions, capturing the breathtaking topography of the steppe, showcasing its beauty to a global audience. Dimash invited a diverse cohort of international artists from China, Kyrgyzstan, Italy, Malaysia, and Serbia to journey alongside him, connecting the ancient nodes of the Silk Road through musical collaboration. To ensure absolute musical integrity and pedagogical excellence, he assembled an elite panel of co-mentors, including respected Chinese artists Li Jia and Li Yugong, pop singer Pang Long, and the U.S. Grammy-winning producer Walter Afanasieff, bringing a wealth of experience to the project. The program achieved staggering commercial success. By April 2026, it had surpassed 1.5 billion views across all online platforms, becoming a flagship property for Chinese media. The geopolitical implications were immense, serving as a potent soft power tool, bridging Sino-Kazakh relations and promoting Central Asian tourism on an unprecedented scale. This structural shift in his career was formally recognized on April 11, 2026, at the Venetian Macau Arena, during the Weibo Macau China Award for Annual Contribution to International Cultural Exchange. In his acceptance speech, he poignantly noted that while he had received countless awards globally for his singing, this marked a monumental milestone as his very first industry award as a producer. It validated his fought-hard evolution into a true industry architect, a creator not just of music, but of media platforms. Parallel to his massive television production success in Asia, the spring of 2026 saw Dimash reach a new zenith in classical crossover performance in Europe. On April 18, 2026, the MVM Dome in Budapest hosted an unprecedented musical event billed as the meeting of three icons. The concert was conceptually designed to unite three distinct musical universes: the unparalleled operatic legacy of Maestro Plácido Domingo, the electrifying classical crossover instrumentation of cellist Hauser, and the extraordinary vocal range of Dimash Qudaibergen. The venue itself, the MVM Dome, is a marvel of modern architecture and the largest multifunctional hall in Budapest, boasting a capacity of 20,000 spectators across its massive 50,000 square meter footprint. Designed by star architect George E. Cardelli and opened in late 2021, the arena features a striking facade inspired by the anatomical drawings of Michelangelo, resembling skeletal muscles that are brought to life at night by thousands of dynamically controlled RGBW luminaires. It is a venue built for massive scale, supported by 485 enormous delta beams, perfectly suited for such an ambitious production. The event faced a severe logistical hurdle when Hauser was unfortunately forced to physically withdraw due to a sudden health crisis. Demonstrating high-level adaptability and ingenuity, the production team seamlessly integrated exclusive pre-recorded video segments of the acclaimed cellist into the live show, ensuring his presence was still felt. The musical foundation for the live performances was provided by the 60-member Budapest Don Honey Symphony Orchestra, under the expert direction of guest conductor Eugene Cohn. The concert was a triumph. Dimash delivered a highly anticipated and breathtaking rendition of The Phantom of the Opera on the Budapest stage, showcasing his dramatic range and classical technique. Following the performance, Plácido Domingo publicly commended him, stating, "A tenor has to be attractive, charismatic, a leader, a winner, and you have everything it takes for that." This powerful endorsement from an undisputed titan of the operatic world firmly validated Dimash's artistry at the absolute highest echelons of the classical world, bridging generations and genres. Beyond the stage and the studio, this immense global popularity was systematically channeled into structured humanitarianism, demonstrating a profound commitment to social responsibility. On December 8, 2025, the United Nations International Organization for Migration appointed Dimash as a Global Goodwill Ambassador during its annual council session in Geneva. This upgraded his previous regional status, placing him in an elite lineage of UN ambassadors that includes high-impact figures like Angelina Jolie and Lionel Messi, individuals recognized for their global influence and advocacy. During the Geneva session, he performed SOS d'un terrien en détresse directly for UN member state delegations, utilizing his art to center discussions on human vulnerability, migration, and the need for compassion. He utilized his massive Stranger World Tour to launch strategic awareness campaigns, displaying QR codes prominently on arena screens that allowed tens of thousands of audience members to donate directly to the IOM's life-saving efforts and crisis response operations around the world. At a national and regional level, Dimash Qudaibergen functions as the ultimate emissary of Kazakh and Turkic culture. His steadfast insistence on performing traditional Kazakh songs like Didido
and kusny kurlan, while utilizing traditional instruments like the dombra on massive global stages, has sparked an unprecedented international interest in Central Asian musical heritage.
He has effectively modernized the perception of the Kazakh steppe for a global audience, transforming it from a distant, unknown land into a vibrant cultural wellspring. In recognition of this immense contribution to regional soft power projection, he was officially named the Ambassador of Turkic World Culture by Turksoy on March 5, 2026, at a ceremony in Astana. Receiving this order makes him only the second recipient in history, elevating his status from a mere pop star to a historical cultural titan, a figure with lasting influence. This diplomatic recognition is reinforced by the highest national artistic titles he holds, including the People's Artist of Kazakhstan and the People's Artist of Kyrgyzstan, honors rarely bestowed. His cultural footprint transcends music entirely. Leveraging his striking physical presence and massive follower engagement, he has become a highly sought-after figure in the fashion industry, modeling for major global labels and gracing the covers of prestigious magazines like Men's Health, Elle Officielle Hommes, and Elle. He has expanded into acting, starring in Chinese and Russian television productions, solidifying his omnipresence in Eurasian media and popular culture. The artistic, professional, and diplomatic trajectory of Dimash Qudaibergen is a testament to the extraordinary confluence of supreme biological endowment, rigorous academic pedagogy, and astute, forward-thinking cultural strategy. His vocal architecture alone, with its unparalleled six-octave range and physiological extremes, secures his place within the pantheon of historical vocal anomalies. But as the exhaustive data from his 2025 and 2026 operational milestones emphatically demonstrate, his legacy will not be defined solely by the physiological extremity of his vocal range. He has successfully navigated the highly perilous transition from a viral television sensation into an autonomous, globally respected institution. He is a geopolitical cultural asset, a unifying diplomatic figure in an increasingly fractured world, and a definitive architect charting the future of cross-cultural expression. If this deep dive into the architecture of a global vocal phenomenon changed how you listen to music, send this episode to someone who appreciates the absolute limits of human ability.